Hello everyone, and continuing with the henna designs for finger series, I'm going to go ahead and jump on into some bridal finger designs that you'll see very often in my work. These designs are fairly common and they're pretty easy to do. So I'm going to jump right in with the first one, which can either be done on the front of the finger or the back of the finger. So I'm just going to start off with a cap here. So when I do caps, I draw a line, and then I just fill it in. And if there's a fingernail there, you can either henna the fingernail or go around the fingernail. It's really a personal choice on what you want to do, or if you're hennaing somebody else, what they want done. Someone did ask me once if you can remove the henna stain from the fingernail, and you can't. You actually have to let it grow out. It'll fade a little bit, but it won't completely go away. And you can paint over it, though, if you want to put fingernail polish over it. So I went ahead and put that cap in there, and then I'm going to do a curved line under it, like so. And another curved line like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some little lines on the inside there and just kind of create a grid. I'm going to put some petals. So it's almost like a little flower where the center of it is a grid, if that makes any sense. Let's do it again. I think I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger so you'll be able to see the grid a little bit better. In some styles of bridal henna, you will see a lot of fine details. So let's put some petals on there. Please excuse my sniffling. Spring has started and I have bad allergies. Always have. Just something I gotta deal with in life. And you'll just have to go along with me for the ride through my sniffles, so forgive me. I'm going to do some more grid, and then put some petals on this. And let's do it again. And you'll pretty much do this until you get to the base of the finger. And once it dries and it stains the finger, it actually looks pretty impressive. My advice for really detailed finger designs on bridal henna, that you do those on the front side of the hand. That's this side where you have this, because it's smoother than the back side because there's a lot more wrinkles there. And when you do really detailed work on the front where there's a lot more wrinkles, you tend to lose detail in the design, unfortunately. So I would recommend doing the more detailed designs on the back, or the palm, the face of the hand, I guess they would call it. You guys know what I mean. Where the fingertips are smoother, or the fingers are smoother, and then you'll be able to see all the details, and then do something a little bit more simpler on the back. That would just be my advice. You don't have to do it that way, but you will notice a big difference. But if you want to put a really detailed design on the back here, you can do that. It is your choice. You are the artist. You make the decisions. Okay. So this is pretty much it. Very simple. You'll want to make all these little grids the same. You won't want to do one that's bigger than the other. You can put some additional stuff down here, but I'm going to go ahead and stop here, because most likely if you're doing a bridal design and it's a full hand bridal design, it's going to connect to something else that's going on here. So that's pretty much where the finger portion ends. So let's move on to another one. And let's see here. All right. So this one starts with a little kind of curved line up here. This one is better for this side of the finger rather than this one. So this design is better suited for that. So we just do a little curved line and then fill in this area here. Okay. And then we're going to do a series of 3 rows of gingerbread, and these ones are going to be small, uniform. All 3 rows will be the same size, like so. These remind me of flowers, like sunflowers, with the shaded top portion being the center of the flower, and then these little loops being the petals, the little gingerbread. And these look really impressive too when they stain. They look really pretty. And then we're going to draw a line here. And you can make this line closer to this or farther away. It's your personal preference. Because we're just going to fill it in with some henna paste. That's it. And you can fill it in with the cone. And I've talked about how I've done this before, but I just squeeze henna paste out on the tip and then move the tip around. Or you can use a paintbrush or whatever works best for you. And then I'm going to do 2 thin lines here. Like that. Okay. Pretty easy, right? This one didn't quite make it all the way. There we go. And then we're going to do a thicker line. And I do that by just putting more pressure on the cone, so more paste comes out and it makes the line thicker, like that. And then we're going to do another thin line, like so. And then on that we're just going to do some gingerbread, like that. It's a little bit longer than these ones we did at the top here. Excuse me again for my sniffles. We're going to come to about the midpoint and we're going to do a swirl. Very easy. Get some gingerbread around that. Okay. And then put some dots. Like that. And as far as bridal, this is a pretty simple one. But this is one that you'll see quite often in a lot of bridal designs. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another one. This one's a little bit unique. It's a little different than what I've done before. And we're going to start out with a V shape. Like that. And try to get this centered as much as possible. So this should be the middle of the finger here. Or the middle point, not the middle of the finger itself, but the middle point. So one side isn't substantially longer than the other, so it looks kind of off kilter. We're just going to fill this in. You can do this on either side of the hand. So if there is a nail there, you can either fill that in or go around the nail. And when I mean go around the nail, oops, I don't want to bump anything. I mean just go around this part and not go over the top there. I hope that's clear. Okay, so just fill in that top part there. Excuse my sniffles again. And we're going to do 2 V's. And when I'm reaching back, I'm actually just wiping off the tip of my comb. I used to do that with my fingers. I don't do that anymore. I may go back to doing that again though. Okay. We're going to do that again. Another V. And you'll want the space here and here to be almost about the same distance apart. If it's not, that's okay, but it just makes it look better. Then we're going to do a third one. Just a little bit more space. And we're going to do this one a little bit thicker. Like that. I think when you have thick and thin lines, it gives the design a little bit more dimension. So if you're noticing that your designs look a little bit thick and you want to give it some dimension and give it a little bit more shape, or give it some depth, is what I'm trying to say, you can go back and forth between thick and thin lines, and that'll help that. If you do a design that has all thick lines, sometimes it can look a little boring. The same for all thin lines as well. We're going to go pop in here with some gingerbread. And I'm doing thinner lines on the gingerbread. And then we're going to go over the top of that with some wider gingerbread. Gingerbread again. If you want to hear the story about why I call it gingerbread, I have a video in which I explain that. I'll put a link to it down below. We're going to do another V, but we're going to give it a little bit of space. I feel like kind of at this point, this whole V shape has kind of gotten lost when we started putting the gingerbread in, so I'm going to go ahead and add it back in. But we want to make sure that the points kind of all meet at the same place. We're going to fill this in with henna paste, this space here. You can make this line a little bit closer to the gingerbread if you like. Personal preference. It's all up to you. Okay, then we're going to put a thin line of V here. I'm just going to leave that space in between there. Okay. And then we're going to do some graduated lines. So that means that there's going to be a longer line, a slightly shorter line, and then a shorter line. And on the tips of each of those, we're going to do a little leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. A little ball of henna, pull it out, make it into a little leaf. We're going to do another line. Make it a little shorter than the one before it. Little ball, pull that ball out, make it into a leaf. Another line, a little bit shorter than the one before it. Same deal. Okay. Then we're going to do that on this side. And it's going to mirror the other side. So try to make these two lines as close to the same length as possible. If you make a mistake, oh well, life goes on. I'm going to make this shape properly. So that's pretty much it. And this type of design, if you're doing a bridal design, this would not connect to the rest of the design that's going on down here. So this would be a finished piece, unlike this, which would most likely connect with what's going on here. And if you wanted to connect what was going on here with what's going on the hand over here, you would continue, you might do a line around this and then continue going down. That's how you could connect it if you wanted to do that. Or you could continue doing lines and filler and then put this piece down here a little bit further. So it's just personal preference. But with this one, when you do something like this, this is pretty much, I mean, it's pretty much finished unless you went over it, maybe did a V shape over this and then continued down. I guess you could do that if you wanted to. Or if you did some loops around each one. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Why don't I just do it? It's not a part of my original plan, but hey. It's part of being an artist. You just kind of change things up as you go, if you want to. Like that. That's what I mean. And then you can kind of continue on with the rest of the design or connect the design to the fingers. So this was not a part of my original plan, but hey, it's cute, right? Right. So, yeah, you could do that and then connect it to whatever was going on down here. Let's go ahead and do another design for bridal. And this one's going to have a little cap at the top. And instead of filling it in with just solid henna paste, we're actually going to do kind of like some netting or grid. Now you can either do this with a fingernail here or just on like on your pinky on this side. And so let's do this. We're going to do really thin, very close together, but you can do these lines farther apart if you want to. I call this stuff netting and grids and all that kind of stuff. It looks kind of like fishnet. These are diagonal lines to start. And then we're going to make tiny little boxes. If there was a fingernail there, we would just do this around the fingernail. I may show you how to do that sometime. I'm sure I've done that in at least one of my videos where you can see it. So many videos in here, sometimes I forget what I've already done and what I haven't done. Alright, so that's how the design starts off. See how quickly it goes? Then we're going to do another line down here. And put a little space between these two. Okay. Then gingerbread. Yes, the infamous gingerbread. I'm going to make these kind of long and skinny. Because that's just what I feel like doing. I often alter pinky designs and make them a little bit shorter than the rest of the designs because the pinky is traditionally the smallest finger on the hand. So instead of having a design that's maybe as full as this one, I might shorten it and do something a little different. But I will talk about that in another video because that has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. I just thought I'd throw in that little piece of info there. Let's do a swirl here. Try to get at the middle point, and then we're going to do a little this around it. So we're doing a swirl and then going around the swirl with like a curved line. Okay, then we're going to do some gingerbread. These are shorter and wider than these ones. Okay. I also think it gives the design a little bit of depth when you do that too. When you do gingerbread, but you do different sizes of it. And then there are some dots. Like so. And then we're going to do a small Paisley. Like that, and fill it in. And I'll get a close-up of it. I know it's tiny and kind of hard to see. And then I'm going to put some small dots equal distance apart, and all of these dots will be the same size. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and do this last one here for bridal fingers. This one has a cap. The caps you'll find quite often in Indian henna. You don't always see them in other types of henna, but they're quite common. And all the designs you see me doing today are not specific to certain fingers on the hand. You can, if I'm doing a design on a pinky, you can do that same design on the thumb or on pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, whatever. Okay. And then this one's going to have some lines here. We're going to do some netting, some gridding, whatever you want to call it, but these lines are going to be far apart. They're not going to be close together like what I did here. Let's just do a few. Okay. And like so. Okay. Maybe not to that degree. We'll just imagine that there's a design going on here, because sometimes some finger designs don't make sense if we just start with the finger design and there's nothing here that explains what else is going on. So if I were actually doing a design, there would be something going on here, and then this would be straighter than what I did. You know, whatever. Anyway, and then we're going to do some little tiny gingerbread here on the line. Now, if I could repeat this step, I would have done the lines in one direction, done the little gingerbread, and then did the lines in the other direction and did the gingerbread on those. So, that would probably be a smarter and simple way to do it, but sometimes my brain doesn't always work that way. Smart and simple isn't always my style. Sometimes I like to get it complicated. Oh, okay. Now we're going to do the gingerbread in this direction. Okay. I promise this looks really cute when you do a bridal design. I've done it before. Promise, promise, promise. Like that. And again, this type of design would make sense if there was something going on over here. So just imagine that there's this beautiful design on the hand template here, and I'm just finishing up the finger piece. And then we're just going to go in here and put some dots in the middle of this. That's it. In a perfect world, all these little spaces would be approximately the same size. Obviously, they're not. And that's okay, because this is just a demonstration. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's put this here because there's supposed to be something there. Okay, that makes it make sense. So, that's pretty much it for the bridal henna finger designs. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at what we've got here. So this is the first one we started with. Kind of an interesting thing, 3 of these have like some netting or some grid work. So that's this one here, and of course the design on the thumb too. And I'll probably do a video on grid work and netting, or whatever I call it. I give weird names to things, but you know what I'm talking about. So that's what we have here. I hope that this video has been helpful. This is just another video in a series of videos on henna designs for the fingers. If you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the comment box below. You can also send me an email, info@freehandmehndi.net. You can also catch me on the Facebook. I'll put a link to the FreeHandMehndi Facebook down below. You can always ask me questions there or post comments as well. And please rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.